Welcome to the XBlock.
Am I right, Marine?
Sir, yes, sir!
Then listen up.
You're listening to the XBlock. I'm Jared, he's Caleb. Let's get into it.
Hello, and welcome to the XBlock podcast, E3 coverage. I'm Jaren, that's Caleb.
Ew.
And typically, we are the world's #1 Xbox podcast.
Typically, yeah, when we still are, probably. You know, even right now, we're still the #1 Xbox podcast, excuse me. But what's happening this week/weekend, Jaren? What's different?
Well, as most of you know, or if you're living under a rock, this weekend and the week leading up to it is kind of E3. The weekend's E3, the before is not quite.
It's the big gaming fucking Super Bowl, you know? That is often hyper disappointing every year.
That's very true. And here at the XBlock, we will be doing shows for each of the major conferences throughout the entire weekend into Tuesday, except for this show, which we're going to talk about the stuff that didn't quite make the cut for E3, but still wanted to be there, you know?
Exactly, like Jaren said, it's, you know, this is the pre-E3 show, which is, you know, probably what we're going to somewhat title this episode if you're listening to it. And yeah, this is just all the shit that was like, yo, we're not at E3, but like, they're at E3, you know what I mean? They just straight up lied.
And some of the stuff that wasn't invited.
Yes, we're recording and maybe posting this on a Friday, and, you know, the other conference, technically E3 doesn't start, you know, they released their real schedule. It doesn't start till Saturday, goes through like, you know, like Tuesday with Nintendo shit. And we're going to be there for all of it. You know, except Nintendo maybe, because we don't give a fuck.
That's true.
Mainly, dude, the Xbox show, super hype.
If you're here for Mario, I want you to sit down, take your shoes off, hang around, listen to the banter, and then turn around and walk out, because you won't be getting any Mario.
Dude, fucking got him, Jaren. High five, dude. Fucking nailed him, idiots. All right, so yeah, this is pre-E3, though. And we had a few things to go over. I guess we had, just kind of to cap what we're going to be doing here, we had the Battlefield reveal from EA.
We did indeed.
We had the Summer Game Fest, right? Preview, like the premiere.
Yep.
You know, with all Jeff Keighley's hype shit launching. And then we had a couple other things that are a little smaller. The Coke Primetime show.
We don't speak about that. We don't speak about that. You take that name out of your mouth.
Had a little bit of an IGN show thing, but that's not really relevant either. Mostly the first couple things I said. But anyway, Jaren, I'll let you take it from here with what we're going to do.
All right. And we're going to start off with the Battlefield 2042 reveal. But first, Caleb,
what's up,
I'm going to need to load the hour-long countdown in. So
the timer.
That's what's going to start.
Put up a timer. So yeah, just turn off, you know, put your phone down and just wait for 1 hour and come back.
Oh,
and
no, wait.
What's up?
I remember, we're not jackasses.
Oh yeah, we're not fucking assholes, dude. Actual multi-million-dollar companies with budget PR marketing teams who are like, you know what, show starts at this time. Fucking just kidding, you're an idiot. Wait 1 hour, you know?
That's the one thing Coke Media got right. Oh shit, I said it. I'm not supposed to say it.
Dude, that's unspoken here. Fucking Coke Media. We'll go over that at the end.
But, I don't know, let's break this down quick. So they revealed Battlefield 2042. Mm-hmm. It's a game. It's only got multiplayer, no single player. That was revealed after. You know, don't want to put that in your fancy press conference. Might piss people off.
Yeah.
And then they said, hey, yo, Caleb, guess what?
What's up, man? Is it me?
We got some
to me?
natural weather events. But, Caleb, I don't want you to get freaked out by this. We're not talking about no climate change here. This is purely not political, according to EA.
Okay, well, it's 100% political, and that's fine. Like, I don't care if it's political, but I don't know why they're saying it's not. 100%
it's not,
is.
Caleb.
What a fucking
say
EA,
no.
dude. Listen, Jaren, here's the thing. They showed off this game, right? They showed the CG trailer. It wasn't really gameplay, right? It was just a CG trailer.
It was all in-engine.
Yeah, it was in-engine. And I'll just say it looked really good. And they followed, you know, it looked like one trooper, but it could probably just be multiple troopers across various combat settings. And they did this to show off the maps, like this one Arctic map and all the vehicles, like these rovers that go across the ice and a bunch of different, you know, like traditional jets. It had like a Battlefield 4 vibe, but it's not Battlefield 4, obviously. It's a bit more futuristic and, you know, newer, way better, obviously. And they just showed this man, you know, people just getting mowed down in the most brutal fucking ways, like a true imagining of World War III.
Oh, yeah, it looked beautiful.
Yeah, the lighting was great. It looked great. They had the tornado that people started running from that had lightning in it that obliterated people and fools. And a big thing with the trailer was they really paid homage to the community and how the community plays Battlefield, especially if you look in the comments and all these things. Like a lot of the stuff, if not everything, but a lot of it from the trailer were like moments referencing in-game popular clips from Battlefield. Like the dude who jumped out of the jet at the end. There's a guy who like goes into like a straight up in the air. I'm not a flight guy, so I don't know what that's called. But he goes straight up into the air and he's being followed by another jet. And he hops out of his jet, shoots the other jet with an RPG, or not an RPG, maybe some sort of rocket launcher as it flies by. blows it up,
Yep.
and then gets back in his jet and takes off. But like that's a popular Battlefield clip. So I didn't know that.
Goddamn, when that happened. That's my sister, by the way, for the new listeners.
Yeah, I didn't know that was because I'm not really into the Battlefield community, but I was like, oh, that's cool. Once I found out that a lot of it is referencing the community. Like Jaren said, though, the negatives, no single player, and that's disappointing because a lot of the marketing hype and everything leading up to the game was that it was a World War III kind of vibe with based around a climate catastrophe with these cyclones and typhoons, whatever the fuck's going on out there, and it seemed really cool. And they had like this kind of fake war speech trying to get people drafted in leading up to it that they sent to, coded to certain influencers. It was a whole thing. And it seems like a really great premise to have a campaign around. And they just didn't do it because EA came out with a statement, I think, after saying they just wanted to focus on things that were more that they're good at. So instead of putting resources toward a campaign, which the last couple, they say they haven't really been that great for them. They just wanted to put all the resources into multiplayer, which people love and what they're good at. And I was like, all right, that's fair. But I'm probably not going to buy this game at launch. If it
money,
is
money,
just multiplayer.
money.
You have anything else to add, Jen? I'm sure you do. I kind of hijacked a bit of that, but I had a lot to say.
No, honestly, dude, until we see gameplay, I'm not going to give it too much praise. And they
That's
made
true.
us wait till Sunday for that, so.
Yeah, probably at Microsoft's conference, we assume.
I assume that's what they said.
Yeah.
They said Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that, like some pre-alpha images leaked before their event, or some alpha images of people in like a test, So you got to see some of the maps that they referenced in the trailers and like some of the vehicles and the HUD. And it has like, squads and all these things. So if you want to like look up the alpha footage that leaked, you can look at some screenshots of the game. But I mean, it looks like Battlefield. I mean, I don't know what to say. It looks like Battlefield 4, but new.
Yep. And the next day, in terms of pre-E3 news, we got Summer Game Fest.
Yes.
That's what we got.
Yes.
And that rolled around on my birthday, not to brag, but came around on my birthday.
Yeah, so the Battlefield thing was Wednesday, right? And then the Summer Game Fest was Thursday, June 10th.
Mhm.
And Jeff Keighley came out. And he hosted his own, kickoff for the month-long Summer Game Fest event, whatever that means. But then he showed a bunch of games.
And he started out strong, came out, hit us with some Borderlands, Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yeah, he got us in. He got us in at the beginning, Jaron. And you're a huge Borderlands fan, so
I
you
am
can speak to
indeed.
this.
I'm a huge Borderlands fan, and I like how this picks up right after the Bunkers and Badasses DLC for Borderlands 2. And it seems like it's going to more focus on like the fantasy kind of RPG elements. Because I saw Randy Pitchford, who's like the head of Gearbox, he tweeted out that he's wanted to make a fantasy kind of RPG at Gearbox for the longest time, essentially since he started the studio. And this game has spell casting, which is totally new to Borderlands, no grenades. It's got melee weapons, it's got armor, and it's got amulets. So this is all centered around that like fantasy themed Dungeons and Dragons type of thing.
Was the Borderlands 2 DLC, was it called like Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep? Was that it? Or am I making that up? Or was that a different one?
Yeah, it was called Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep.
So for those of you who didn't play, that was a DLC expansion for Borderlands 2 that was beloved. And it's the premise is that all the characters are playing like a dice rolling D&D kind of in-world game with Tiny Tina, and I think she's like the dungeon master, right?
Yeah, she's the guiding the narrative in that and the new game.
So you're in Borderlands, you're playing a board game, and then you inhabit the characters in the board game, and it's meta. And then like as Tiny Tina like says things that are happening, and characters say things that are happening, shit will change and pop into existence and pop out, and it's crazy and wacky like Borderlands. And so if you didn't play that, that's kind of the premise. And it seems like this game is just building on that because it was beloved and making it like a full ass game. And that's obviously newer and hopefully better too. That'd be cool. So
yep. And it's got Andy Samberg and Will Arnett. Will Arnett seems to be the villain. I'm not sure who Andy Samberg is.
Yeah, it's a big cast of pretty famous people. You do know who Andy Samberg is. Shut the fuck up.
No, I mean like I don't know who he is in the game.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant I don't know who Andy Samberg is. I was like, yes, you do, you liar.
No, of course I know who he is. He's my father.
Yeah, shut up. Okay. So, big cast, high fantasy elements, Borderlands, should be a good time. Maybe better than Borderlands 3.
Early 2022. That's what they said.
So, delayed to the end of 2022. Got it.
I don't know. They're back in the studio now. They could finish it.
Shut up. It's going to get delayed. Come on. Summer, right? They're going to delay it to summer, at least.
The next big thing we saw was Among Us. Everyone was really hyped about Among Us.
Darren, you're a big Among Us fan.
I am indeed. I'm a pretty big Among Us fan, play pretty much once a week. And they added some actual cool stuff that everybody's been waiting for. Well, everyone's been playing them in mods if they have the game on PC, but I've been waiting for it because my friends still play the game on their damn phones.
Yeah, remember I played with you guys last night, and we couldn't even go into a Discord call. Had to do Google because they're not
Google Meet.
They're not hardcore. Yeah.
So they're adding a new game mode called Hide and Seek. I assume that's what it sounds like. I'm not that interested in that. What I am interested in is they're adding some new roles, and these have been used all over Twitch with like the modding community and that kind of stuff, where it adds like a new wrinkle to the gameplay other than just they're bad and they're good and the imposters can kill people. Now people have like special kind of abilities that like help kind of change up the game and make it a little less decisive on who's bad and who's good.
So that should be more fun. I'm letting you run this because this was kind of your event if you think about it, with Borderlands and Among Us and shit. It was like, this is the Jaren show, man. Get the Jaren announcements.
And the rest of the stuff was your simple Among Us stuff that you normally expect. New colors, cosmetics. They're going to add achievements, apparently, so look out for that.
I played it on Steam. I bought it on Steam just in case they add achievements. Even though it's free on Game Pass, I paid $5 for it on Steam so that it wouldn't make me get achievements.
You're a loser.
You're a loser. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
You're a loser.
Nah, dude, I'm good. I save a lot of money.
And they're bringing out a new map. So there you go. That's the Among Us news.
That I'm a loser? Is that the news?
That's not news. If anyone's been listening to the podcast forever, they know. Mr. Chinese Master Chief Collection.
Shut up. It's fun.
Yeah, go catch me a fish.
Dude, Moonglow Bay, you said that was in Day of the Devs, which we're not going to cover here, but
it was in the Day of the Devs. They showed more gameplay.
We're fan of the Moonglow Bay people who are working on that game, right? That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, shout out to them.
They're nice.
They were nice to us on Twitter. The last big game is our boys, Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Remember that? So some of you who aren't into the fucking meme, go watch the teaser, the trailer, the first, just watch the first Elden Ring trailer, not this new one that just happened. Check the first one that happened like a few years ago, like 2 years ago or something, that was just totally CG, and you'll get what I mean when I say, oh, Elden Ring. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
My main takeaway from this one, Caleb, the dragon caught lightning.
Yeah, that was some crazy shit. So what is Elden Ring, for those who may be slightly unaware or don't have the right background?
It's Dark Souls. If you haven't heard of Dark Souls, it's Bloodborne. If you haven't heard of Bloodborne, it's Demon Souls. If you haven't heard of that, I can't help you.
Yeah, so the guy who directed those games, he directed Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, and Bloodborne. And this is his next game that people have been anxious for. And people thought it was going to be shown at the Bandai Namco conference or whatever. But guess what? No, Jeff Keighley got it, dude. He got a gameplay reveal. It's crazy.
He did indeed.
It looks wild.
It looks great. They showed off a ton of it. Like almost every conceivable thing that you could show off about a game without spoiling anything about it.
Yeah.
And it comes out January 21st, 2022, or at least they say it does.
I wrote January 22nd. I don't know who's right, but it comes out one of those days.
One of those days.
One of those days at January 2022, and I was questioning whether it would come out then. They gave a specific date instead of just a window, so that's pretty good. And then, like Jaren said, they showed not just a vertical slice of the game. It seemed like they showed like every boss and a lot of the game.
They showed everything.
And so it looks like they're well into development, and that they're probably going to hit the release date, or at least close. It shouldn't be one of those games that gets delayed a year. Okay, it should probably come out close to when they say it will, because I'm very skeptical nowadays of any release dates, honestly. I don't even believe any game's coming out, but Elden Ring, it looked, Jaren and I, not Dark Souls fans, not Bloodborne fans, we make fun of those people, and we make fun of those games. This game looks a little more fun and interesting in terms of the world, and the design. It's not as fucking, I don't know, just emo and like, just depressing to look at, even though it's still very stylized and messy and grimy in that way, but it said some news came out that I think they said it's multiplayer. I don't know if that means co-op, but I guess it means you can hop in with your friends and like play through the game. If it is co-op, Jaren and I, and the achievements work, cooperatively, where they unlock for both the host and the other person. Jaren and I will probably play this game.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I was going to say, I was like, yo, Caleb, don't lie to them. Don't tell us we're interested because this one looks slightly different. We just saw co-op and we were like, all right, maybe.
No, it does look a little different. From someone who, yeah, okay, I haven't played all those games. I've seen Bloodborne played through multiple times, like speedrun and regular playthrough, and I've seen Dark Souls 1 played through all the way and speedrun. And then I've seen some of Demon Souls kind of on and off. So I'm not interested in those games as much, and this game does look different in some regards. Not totally different. It's very Dark Souls-esque, Not like Bloodborne really at all, but very Dark Souls-esque. But it's also the co-op is, what Jaren said makes it seem very enticing to he and I.
Mm-hmm. That means that Caleb and I can get together and cause some mayhem and get slapped by bosses.
Dude, I was going to
say,
there's no way that boss could beat both of us, dude. We're too good, you and me. We're too pro. Like the bosses, you know, it's like, oh, they got the hard bosses in Dark Souls. Nah, dude, you and I, we'll be fine, right?
Sniper Elite beat us for 3 days.
It did. Yeah, go play Sniper Elite 3 on authentic difficulty. Shit's hard as fuck.
All right, Caleb, what are like some little takeaways that you just want to talk about from Summer Game Fest?
Some takeaways.
Yeah, like little games or little things that you want to throw out there.
Yeah, so the EA thing, disappointing, not worth showing as a conference. I'll say that. Or like as an event. It's not a conference, but like as having this Battlefield event thing, stupid.
Yeah, just wait for Xbox.
Yeah, should have been. It was stupid. So I'll say that. And then moving on to Game Fest. Game Fest, better than I thought it would be. This kind of in like beginning premiere, even though they're going to be showing stuff throughout the month. It's like, why even bother paying attention for the rest of the month? This was it. And it was paced pretty well. Jeff talked to some people on and off. That was stupid. Like, people would show up to talk to Jeff, and they'd be like, hey, man, we got a game coming out. And Jeff would be like, that's cool. All right, see ya. And then you're like, why'd you show... why did you not just Zoom call in? Like, why were you...
We became a studio today, Jeff. Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, that was how some people walked in. So that was dumb. So, but overall, it was a good conference. Relative on the spectrum of conferences, it was a good one. And some games that were shown, just to kind of mention, Metal Slug Tactics, which is like an XCOM kind of style game for into Metal Slug. Death Stranding, by the way, just funny. Death Stranding got a fucking director's cut for PS5. And I just wrote in my notes during the show, Death Stranding money grab 2020.
Oh yeah, dude, they want your money so bad. It's also 2021.
They teased it like it was some Metal Gear Solid-esque DLC with like the box, the cardboard box and sneaking and shit and him, what's his name? Norman Reedus trying to get in the box. And then it was just like Death Stranding director's cut. And you're like, you guys suck. There's a Jurassic World Evolution 2 promo kind of like, I mean, there's a game coming out, but it's like a promo for the new movie. Other than that, I don't know. There's some other dumb stuff. I'm just looking through the notes real quick. Okay, so Vampire the Masquerade, The Blood Hunt looked good. And the alpha's out now, comes out this year. And then a couple more. House of Ashes, they showed that off. A little not spooky during the trailer, but House of Ashes, which is the Dark Pictures anthology. Jared and I love those games. And the next one is set during the Iraq War, comes out October 22nd, looks great. Planet of Lana, everyone's kind of talking about online. It's a hand-painted background art style.
Yeah, it looked beautiful.
Yeah, comes out 2022. And then two more here. Back for Blood, which comes out October 12th. Gameplay still looks good. It's like a AA Left 4 Dead game, more modern, and looks like a fun co-op time. And then lastly, Evil Dead the game comes out 2021. Dude, that game looked hype. I don't know what it is. I assume it's just multiplayer. I don't know. But it's like zombies and, fucking Friday the 13th. I was trying to think of the name of the game. I was like, Friday the 13th, that game. And it looks, all the animations and everything look great. And that's kind of the last bit I have to say about it.
All right, Caleb. So we'll just do this for the Summer Games Fest. We're teasing how we're going to cover the rest of our conferences. So we'll kind of go through them a little bit in the future. And then we're going to have a Fire or Faff rating. And if you haven't heard our show before, Faff means pointless and really kind of a waste of time. And Fire is obviously good. Everybody on the internet knows that.
But let me just say, Jaren, this is a good time to plug, man. If you haven't listened to any of our other episodes, go listen to the XBlock podcast. And we have segments and everything. And we have a Faff segment, which is all at the end of the show. It's all the things that you don't care about. All the news that if you clicked on it at the sites, you're a dummy. They got you. You got. And we just click on it for you and cover it and tell you. And you shouldn't care about it. It's all the dumb stuff. And these conferences, some of them are going to be faff. You shouldn't have watched them. Wasn't worth it. Was dumb. You got. And we got. And so we're going to rate the conferences with either fire or faff. And that's what Jaren's saying. And yeah, if you want to follow us on Twitter, Jaren, that's like at XBlock Podcast, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, podcast services everywhere, fucking Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you want to be, YouTube, the XBlock Podcast. And yeah. So what are we going to do here with this Fire or Faff segment?
I'm going to give it, I can't go like all the way, like massive wildfire, it wasn't that hype. Summer Game Fest, I'm going to give it like a little campfire.
Okay, little camp. Okay. So it's not Faff. You got to watch it. It's worth it. It's not Faff. I would agree with you. It's a fire that's large enough to roast marshmallows on. It's not a raging inferno. It's not like you could have 10 people sitting around that fire. But it's like you got a couple logs. It's a fire. It's a fire, Jaren. It's fire,
Yeah, it is. There's not really too much more to say about it. And then everything came to a crashing halt today. All right? Everything.
Everything. What is it today? Friday? Yeah, it's
Friday, dude.
June 11th
What-
for the posterity.
My God, the energy I needed to muster up to record this show because
Jesus.
of all of the energy Coke Media took out of me.
Listen, the Coke Media, who is that company that basically became THQ, bought up all THQ's games, is buying everybody. Everybody that they can buy, they're buying. It's kind of like a European company. They own everybody. And they have like 60 studios now or more.
Yep.
And they've announced that they're making literally over 100 games. Like in development, over 100 games. And they basically have revived the AA space. You know, they brought from indie to AA. Because some people probably don't know what Coke Media is. But they decided that this year, they're having a Coke Primetime Showcase, and it's right before E3. It's not technically associated with E3. It's more the summer, an extension of Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest. And do day 2 of Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, the eve of E3, Coke Primetime. They were ready to show off all their shit, some of their shit, whatever. Big hype stuff that they were ready for. Payday 3, show that off. And so Jaren, why don't you kind of lead into that? What's going on with that? What
It
happened?
was fucking terrible. It was the worst conference I've ever seen in my life. It's like showing up to like a dessert table and all they've got is oatmeal raisin cookies when you bite into them and you thought it was chocolate chip.
Yeah, I've been watching conferences for well over a decade, and I've seen older ones that when I wasn't, I'm 24, but I've been watching conferences for a long time, and all the older ones that are worth watching I've seen on YouTube from like the 90s even. I think I've sent you some of those videos, the early 2000s, everything. And that was, I think I tweeted out at XBlock Caleb on Twitter. That was the worst video game quote unquote conference that I've ever seen. Ever. Like any type of video game showcase or conference that I've seen ever. That was the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just people talking. It was an interview. It was interviews. And the
It's true.
trailers were no longer than, 10 seconds for what it's worth. If there were any. And then for Payday 3, which everyone was hyped for, like 2 hours into the stream, people were waiting. Resident sleepers in the Twitch chat, everyone just saying this is the worst. They hated it. Staying tuned for Payday. And what happened, Jaren? What happened when Payday came up?
They showed concept art for Payday 3.
Oh, they didn't show concept art. They showed a piece.
Just a single piece of concept art that actually was seen yesterday, and I swear like a better quality.
Yeah, they hyped it up, showed an already seen piece of concept art for Payday 3, and the Payday 2 came out in I think 2014 or 2013, one of those two.
Yep.
And it's 2021 for those of you listening. And they said the game won't be coming for years.
That's what they said, for years. They couldn't even commit to how many years.
They said for years. Like it's not coming for, dude, it's going to be like over a decade, and people were so hyped like waiting, and they showed an already seen piece of concept art. It was such a troll. Everyone in the chat was like, yo, we got scammed, boys.
There's no fire Faff for that one. It was depression on film.
It was the worst. It was literally the worst. Nothing I don't think will ever be worse than that. I don't think that'll ever happen.
Dude, I'm going to knock on wood.
Literally knocked on wood.
Just for that. They're like, I don't want to say anything more about it. It's a terrifying thing. But if you hopefully want to see better conferences in the future, we will be covering them. Please feel free to come by tomorrow and Sunday, especially because we are an Xbox podcast, for our thoughts on the Ubisoft conference tomorrow and the Xbox podcast on Sunday. And if anything else relevant comes out, we'll cover those too.
Just so you know, IGN had an expo during right at the end of Coke Media's thing. They didn't show anything. It was some indie games and some bad humor. One of the hosts was pretty sweet, pretty cool. Brian Altano wasn't, super. I don't know if he wrote his own bits, but wasn't a fan of the humor. It was kind of cringe 101, and they didn't show anything. So Jared and I just in case you were even curious whether you should watch, don't. Faff.
Yep, and I guess that's it for us on our pre-E3 coverage, huh, Caleb?
Yeah, dude, like Jaren said, dude, we're just waiting. Xbox coming up, stay tuned. Ubisoft, fucking Bandai Namco, I assume will do. All kinds of things coming up, all of them. Stay tuned. The XBlock Podcast. Get ready.
Yep. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at XBlock Podcast, and we will tell you exactly what we're covering and when it's going to come out. And thank you for listening and giving us a shot if you're new, and please listen to the rest of our podcasts. And that's all for us.
XBlock out.